Hello and welcome to the fourth screencast for the FOSS Water Unit of Study. In this screencast, we will dive into Investigation 3, Water Vapor. This investigation has 4 parts and is designed to be completed in 8 sessions over the course of 3 weeks. You can find the Student Learning Outcome document for this unit of study on the Boston Public Schools Science Department website. Also, check out the Water Overview screencast for more information about the BPS Science Weebly and other resources available for teaching this unit of study. In Part 1, Evaporation, students will investigate what happens when 2 paper towels are allowed to dry, one in a cup with a lid and the other in an open cup. The first part of this investigation takes 2 short sessions on 2 consecutive days, but can also be completed with an early morning session followed by a late afternoon session. I've even done this activity with 2 or 3 days between the 2 sessions. Watch the teacher preparation video on FOSS Web to see how to set up the materials for this investigation. On the second day of this investigation, as students observe and discuss their results, introduce the new vocabulary words evaporation, evaporate, and water vapor. As you add the words to the class word bank, point out the root word vapor in all 3 words. This will help students recognize that some very large science vocabulary words actually have parts that help us understand their meaning. Also, save your wet paper towel in the closed cup. You will need it for parts 2 and 3 of this investigation. In Part 2, Evaporation Locations, students investigate what effect does air temperature have on evaporation. For this activity, students place cups of water in 4 evaporation locations and take air temperature readings in each location twice a day over the course of 4 school days. The first day of this activity will take 1 full class period to introduce and set up the investigation. Then you will need 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and 5 to 10 minutes in the afternoon over the next 3 days to check on the cups of water in each evaporation location. On the 5th day, students will collect the trays of cups from their evaporation locations and put the cups in order by mass. This will take another full class period. To see how to set up this activity, watch the teacher preparation video on FOSS Web. Depending on your students, you might want to use just 3 evaporation locations instead of 4 for an easier sequencing activity when it comes time to analyze the results of the investigation. You could also add an outdoor evaporation location for comparison. Visit FOSS Web to find the Science in the Schoolyard guide for the water unit of study. Also, don't forget to talk about that wet paper towel again. What would be the best location for drying the wet towel? Think about how much heat energy the liquid water would gain in each location. In Part 3, Surface Area, students investigate what effect does surface area have on the rate of evaporation. Students will set up this lesson in 2 30-minute sessions scheduled 4 days apart. You will need a flat surface to store a tray for each group of students. To see how to set up this activity, watch the teacher preparation video on FOSS Web. Talking about evaporation can be tricky because students will be using the words more, less, larger, greater, smaller to describe a variety of things, including how much water is vapor, how much water is liquid, and how much liquid water was touching the air, or the surface area. Students will need time to grapple with these ideas, so be patient as they discuss their findings and work to develop a richer understanding of evaporation and surface area. In Part 4, Condensation, students will investigate what happens when the surface of an object or material is cooler than the air surrounding it. You will need ice, blue ice water, and green room temperature water to conduct this activity. To see how to set up this activity, watch the teacher preparation video on FOSS Web. This activity brings together the big ideas of evaporation and condensation to introduce the water cycle. Your kit includes a water cycle poster. I like to use sticky notes to label the poster with more vocabulary words, including sun, energy source, cloud, runoff, collection, and any other words that come up as you're talking about the water cycle with your students. I also recommend taking time to read the FOSS Science story, The Water Cycle. See the Science Stories tab in the eTeacher Guide for guiding questions to use as you read the text selection with your students. That's it for this investigation. See you next time for Investigation 4 of the Water Unit of Study.